At 30, nothing dramatic happens. No alarm sounds. No warning light turns on inside the body. And yet something shifts. Beneath the surface, the human body begins to change direction. Cells that once repaired themselves effortlessly now hesitate. Muscle fibers rebuild a little slower. Hormones that once surged now soften their rhythm. It's subtle, almost polite. By your early 30s, peak bone density is already behind you. Muscle mass begins its slow retreat, a process scientists call sarcopenia. Even if you feel strong, the blueprint is changing. Pause. Inside the bloodstream, growth hormone and testosterone quietly decline. Not enough to notice, just enough to matter. The body is still capable, still resilient, but it is no longer optimized for growth. Evolution never designed adulthood to last this long. For most of human history, reaching 30 meant survival. Not longevity, not comfort, not decades more. Your metabolism begins to drift. Calories once burned without thought now linger. Fat storage becomes easier and harder to undo. The immune system, once aggressively alert, starts prioritizing memory over speed. It learns, but it reacts more slowly. None of this feels like falling apart, because it isn't collapse, it's reallocation. The body quietly shifts from expansion to preservation, from building to maintaining, from future to present. And the strangest part? You don't feel it happening. But deep inside, time has already taken its first step, because the real story doesn't begin with muscles or bones. It begins inside the cell. Every second, your cells are under attack. By oxygen, by radiation, by their own metabolism. This damage is normal. What changes after 30 is how well it's repaired. At the center of every cell lies DNA, a molecular instruction manual copied trillions of times. And copying is never perfect. Tiny errors accumulate. Most are fixed. Some are missed. Over time, these mistakes stack. Then there are telomeres, protective caps at the ends of chromosomes. They shorten every time a cell divides. When they grow too short, the cell stops dividing or dies. This is not a flaw. It's a safety feature. But after 30, more cells begin reaching that limit. The body becomes crowded with cells that are alive, but no longer fully functional. Scientists call them senescent cells. They don't die, they linger, and they release inflammatory signals that damage surrounding tissue. Aging, it turns out, spreads. Music intensifies slightly. Mitochondria, the engines of your cells, also change. They produce less energy and more waste. Energy declines. Inflammation rises. This slow, internal conflict is invisible, but it shapes everything. Your skin heals slower. Your endurance drops. Your recovery takes longer. Even your immune system ages. After 30, it becomes better at remembering past threats and worse at responding to new ones. That's why infections hit harder and why recovery takes time. None of this happens suddenly. It unfolds quietly, relentlessly, and the body adapts. But adaptation has a cost, because while your cells fight to survive, they slowly forget how to renew. And nowhere is this more unsettling than in the brain. The brain feels ageless. It remembers childhood with impossible clarity. It imagines futures that don't yet exist. But beneath that illusion, change is already underway. By the early 30s, the brain begins to trade flexibility for efficiency. Neural connections that once formed easily now require repetition. Pathways that are rarely used are quietly removed. This is not damage. It is optimization. The brain is refining itself for survival, not exploration. Certain regions begin to lose volume, very slowly, measured not in years, but in millimeters. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of planning and impulse control, matures fully, and then begins its long plateau. Reaction times lengthen. Multitasking becomes harder, not because intelligence fades, but because energy is conserved. The brain is the most expensive organ you own. It consumes energy relentlessly. After 30, the body starts negotiating that cost. Sleep changes first. Deep sleep shortens. REM cycles shift. The The brain's nightly cleaning system, responsible for flushing metabolic waste, becomes less efficient. This waste doesn't disappear. It accumulates. Hormones follow the same pattern. Cortisol, the stress hormone, lingers longer after challenges. Melatonin, the signal for rest, weakens. Insulin sensitivity declines, changing how fuel is handled. Stress becomes stickier. Recovery takes longer. The body is still capable of balance. It just reaches it more slowly. Metabolism rewires too. Muscle tissue responds less strongly to growth signals. Fat cells become more responsive to storage signals. The same meal produces a different outcome than it once did. This is not failure. It is adaptation to scarcity, written into ancient biology. Even the gut changes. The microbial ecosystem that once shifted easily now stabilizes into patterns that are harder to alter. Inflammation increases. Digestion becomes more sensitive. The body is no longer experimenting. It is settling, protecting what remains, preparing for uncertainty. And through it all, consciousness continues uninterrupted. You feel the same. You are the same, which makes the transformation even more unsettling. Because the body is not collapsing, it is being rewired for the long hold. And that raises a deeper question. Why was the body never built to last like this? The human body is not broken. It is unfinished. Evolution does not design for longevity. It designs for reproduction. Once survival to adulthood is achieved, selection pressure weakens. There is no evolutionary reward for maintaining tissues indefinitely. So the systems that build us are stronger than the systems that maintain us. Repair mechanisms fade, not because they fail, but because there was never a reason to perfect them. Cells divide until it becomes risky. DNA repairs until the cost outweighs the benefit. The immune system prioritizes memory over flexibility. This is not decay. It is compromise. A body optimized for short lives, now stretched across long ones. For most of human history, living past 40 was rare. Now, decades unfold beyond that point. We are running biology outside its original operating conditions, and science is beginning to notice. Researchers have identified processes that drive aging itself: cellular senescence, chronic inflammation, mitochondrial decline. In laboratories, clearing damaged cells extends lifespan in animals. Resetting cellular clocks restores youthful function. In mice, aging can be slowed, in some cases partially reversed. But humans are more complex, intervening in aging risks, disturbing systems that evolved to protect us from cancer, infection, and instability. The body resists change for a reason, so we stand at a threshold. For the first time in history, aging is no longer just observed. It is studied as a mechanism, something that might be adjusted, delayed, or one day fundamentally altered. But the question remains unresolved. Is aging a disease to be treated, or a process too deeply woven into life itself? The human body begins falling apart after 30 not because it is weak, but because it was never meant to persist unchanged. We are living longer than our biology expected. And now, for the first time, we are asking whether expectation can be rewritten, whether the quiet unraveling is inevitable, or simply the next mystery waiting to be understood.